So, let's do that.
Yeah, right. Hey, everyone, how you doing? You having a good day so far?
Yeah. All right. I am mildly sleep deprived. That means this is going to be a fun battle. Yes. Welcome. This will be momentarily a general Q&A back and forth discussion, conversation about pretty much anything you want to ask. Having focused on animation and cartoons. That is going to be the gist of this panel. But before that, let's make an introduction. My name is Matthew Mercer. I'm an actor and voice actor from Los Angeles, California. I've worked on a lot of video games and cartoons and all kinds of interesting stuff. Projects include recently, you guys ever played Fire Emblem Awakening? I was Kron in that. Little cameo arts Bad Brothers. Little kind of Alvin and Tales of Exilian 2. Fun. Great. Functional. I was Tiger of the Thundercats on Cartoon Network. I was Captain Levi and Captain Titan. Video games include World of Warcraft, I voiced Rexar, Kilrog. Nice. Playing up the new Birthday expansion, you'll hear me as Ragnaros and the Fairy and Black Rock Mountain. Just Mountain Rose Eternity for PC, which if you're here, I don't know why you should be home playing that game. It's amazing. I wish I was home right now playing it. It's great. But yeah, so a bunch of random things, fun times. My experience in animation began approximately 7 or 8 years ago. I've been doing bit parts in cartoons about 15, but I really began to pursue heavily as a career voiceover about 7 or 8 years ago. And since then I've worked with Warner Brothers, I've worked with Disney, I've worked with a bunch of different companies. I've had the opportunity to meet Tony Stark, Iron Man, and multiple Marvel projects, which has been awesome. Huge nerd growing up, comics and otherwise. That was nice. A couple of Marvel characters coming up soon that I can talk about yet. I've got some awesome DC characters, so I'm going to hit that nerdy spectrum pretty well. But yeah, so animation, there are multiple different types of animation in general. There's it's called relay animation, which is a lot of the Western cartoons are when the actors record before animation is completed. And so the actors either solo, but more often than not in relay, record as a group. The group records all kind of grouped together with multiple microphones, and it's recorded almost like a radio play. All of you play off of each other, and it's more of a fluid group dynamic. And then the animators animate to the performances. Then there's dubbing, ADR recording, which is what a lot of Japanese animation is. As the animation is already completed, and now as the actors and the performers, you still have to undertake the challenge of delivering a believable performance that feels honest and true to you, but tailoring it to this tiny bit of space, this big, this far. I can match all the individual lip flaps of the characters, match the exact timing as far as beginning and ending, a line of dialogue. You have to find ways to make those strange Japanese pauses sound semi-natural. That kind of like, don't worry, we're going to make sure that you are safe. What? So it's a fun challenge both ways. Both have their positives and negatives, but yeah, I love it. I grew up in cartoons. I'm a huge nerd. You haven't figured that out already. My Dungeons and Dragons shirt that I'm wearing. But yeah, so as part of the Q&A, I figure question and answer. If you have any questions when I ask for them, go ahead and raise your hand. I'll call on you and use your big booming voice to direct your question towards me so I can hear you. I'll repeat the question and give you the best answer I can. Keep it cordial. This is a family panel. So, those fun questions can go to the later panel. So, you start the front. Alright, so, a little backstory for you guys. For the past 3 weeks and going forward, me and a bunch of other voice actors who have been playing a Dungeons and Dragons game for the past 2 years at IMDb. We're now streaming live on Twitch on Even Sundry's Twitch channel for a show called Critical Role, where we just literally continue to play our Dungeons and Dragons game, starting off with new chapters, so you're not thrown in the middle of the story. And Actors as part of it are Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, Sam Riegel, Liam O'Brien, Ashley Johnson, who you guys would know as Ellie from Last of Us, as well as many other great actors. Orion Kava, Taliesin Gaffney, and Marisha Ray. It's a big room. It's a nice challenge for a DM. But anyway, we had a situation the game before last where Travis's character, who's a Goliath barbarian with an intelligence of 6,
which he plays right now. His name's Crow. He likes swimming in ale.
So as part of this kind of traversing into the Underdark, Travis saw a light source in the distance and it was still raging after the battle and just ran charging into an ambush of Durgar, which are these kind of like evil underground dwarves. And what's called an intellect devourer. It's a tiny brain creature that basically blasts you with psychic energy, and if you lose too much intelligence, you go catatonic. Well, Grog went catatonic. Intelligence dropped to 0, and they weren't sure if they were going to be able to save him. It was the cliffhanger we left the last episode on. So to answer your question, thanks to the druid of the party taking the evening to kind of guard themselves and prepare these for all greater restoration. A small skill challenge later, they were able to restore Grog to his mighty 6 intelligence. Greg was Travis came to the session with a pair of sunglasses with X's on them, so he was prepared to play the part of Grog for 15 minutes, just being quiet. But yeah, if you guys are interested in checking it out, we play every Thursday. It's 7 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you missed the episodes, they are archived and you can watch them anytime starting the day after. So go back and watch us all roll dice and be super big. But yeah, so check out last night's episode because it's crazy stuff happened. Question over here?
Yeah, how much of a role does improvisation play in your voice acting?
Improvisation, in my opinion, is one of the greatest learning experiences we have, not just as a performer, but as a social person. Improv teaches you to think quickly and to act on your feet. It teaches you to develop good group dynamics and collaboration because the yes and principle of improv, which yes and refers to that you don't deny anybody else's idea, you build off of it. So if somebody offers an idea or a suggestion during the scene in improv, as opposed to going, you're like, well, John, how's that job at the warehouse going? You go, oh, the job's great, although it's a little empty. As opposed to going, actually, I don't work in a warehouse. I work at a Starbucks. In which case, you're like, oh, cool, you just totally made that scene awkward and shut that person down. Improv's about yes and, where you just build off of each other. And that's a really cool collaborative skill set to just get used to doing and working with people where it comes to more positive fruition in a team-based environment. As a performer, it also helps you just jump right into any situation and kind of roll with it. And especially when it comes to voiceover, a lot of it's cold reading, a lot of it you don't get the script in advance. You just walk into a soundproof, very, very quiet booth, surrounded by black foam with a glass window. Across from that is like 6 or 7 people all sitting down going, okay, make magic, go. And it can be a very nerve-wracking experience. And improv just kind of helps you get used to, okay, let's do this, you know, to take off. So it's tremendously helpful from a skill set standpoint. And not so much in dubbing because there's very little room to work with, although it does make for some great bloopers and outtakes, which sometimes make it to the DVDs. So look forward to Kill bloopers, hopefully they'll put this on there. This is like hilarious. But with Relay Animation, a lot of comedic animation projects, a lot of like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon stuff, improv is welcome. In fact, a lot of improvised scenes that we'll do in the booth will make it into the final show sometimes, as long as they're not too risque for a kid show. Those just get saved for private files later to listen to during the rap party and be like, oh, that would never make the air. But yeah, I love improv. I think it's a very, very wonderful thing to learn and in general. And you meet a lot of really cool people for it. So I relish it personally. No worries. That's a good question. Way there in the back, the yellow hood.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to get into voice acting?
Okay, so first and foremost, voice acting. Voice is important, but it's about 10% important. The acting is the 90%. You can do great impressions and have silly voices you can do, but all of that is just a layer on top of your actual core performance ability, and that just comes through training and experience. So if you're really interested, genuinely serious about pursuing it, you need to train as an actor. So look for any opportunities you can to take classes on scene study, character study, how to interpret script and copy, and being able to read dialogue and break it down to find out where the emphasis should be in each line, to figure out what the intents are, what the subtext is. When you read a scene, understand that it's not just about the scene, that's a moment within a longer timeline. So where if you read a scene, you can be like, okay, what was this person doing before they entered the scene? Where are they going right afterward? These are all the things that you just begin to learn naturally through these training workshops and classes. Also, if you're going to college or if you have a college degree, you can also take classes in voice and all these different types of performance art training. And then experience as well, which means get involved with your local theater. Honestly, the skills you learn and the experiences you learn on stage have the most direct translation to voiceover than any other form of performance art I've had. I've trained in a lot of on-camera classes and I do on-camera work as well, but that skill set is all about diminishing and internalizing a lot of your emotion and a lot of your expressiveness, because all of it has to be read on your face on camera, and suddenly you're also becomes Jim Carrey over the top. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Jim Carrey, but he's one of the people that can get away with that. Whereas voiceover, you have to convey all those subtleties, all those eyebrow lifts, all those quivering, eye motions with only your voice. And theater prepares you for that better than anything else I've experienced. You'll notice a lot of really great voice actors come from a theater background. So training and acting, experience on stage are all extremely handy, and that's where you build your groundwork. Because when you're ready to be competitive, you're stepping into the ring with me. You're stepping into the ring with Troy Baker. You're stepping into the ring with Frank Welker. And so you have to be ready and confident in your ability and your experience to hop in there and not be like, oh, I hope I can make it. You have to step in and be like, I'm gonna make it. And with those who've done that experience behind you, that's your best bet at really breaking into. Eventually, you want to consider going to where the work is, which is one of the difficult things, because it's hard to make a living doing voiceover unless you're in New York, Dallas, Houston, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. There are a few other pockets where you can get by, but that's where most of the work is. Also, voiceover is a broad spectrum. People think voiceover, oh, cartoons or video games. Those are great. Those are great aspects. People want to pursue all of it. There's commercial, which pays better than most of them, which is all radio commercials and television spots. There's promo, which is whenever you hear that, coming up next on Fox, crazy shenanigans with so-and-so and the families, coming to, or like, the Janine's getting checked to see if her wedding dress is what she wants next week on TLC to say yes to the dress. That's promo. By the way, Roger Craig Smith, voice of Ezio Auditore in Assassin's Creed, voice of Chris Redfield, voice of Sonic the Hedgehog, he's the voice of Say Yes to the Dress. And that probably pays better than all the other ones did. So, you have trailers as well, and there's celebrity voice matches, because a lot of actors don't have the time to go in and redub some of the lines that didn't come out clear in the films. It's like I found a voice match for Ryan Reynolds and Mark Ruffalo and a bunch of other actors, and that's also a part of the industry. So you kind of want to train for all of it, because saying, I want to be an anime voice actor, I'm always like, oh, I hope you like living in a cardboard box. And all elements of voiceover kind of help fill in the gaps for each other. So don't pigeonhole or narrow yourself down to just one part of it. Get and train for all of it. That's my biggest recommendation. I can make a whole panel about that. But those I think are really good places for groundwork, and we'll have longer discussions throughout the week and other panels about it too. So don't be afraid to come to those and continue the question. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk at you forever, and everyone's like, good question. Raise your hand if you want. You, sir, you're quick on the draw.
How do you feel to be on the Thundercats episode of Men at Arms?
All right, so there's a show called Men at Arms, where Tony Swatton and a bunch of really great weaponsmiths and armor smiths in Los Angeles that do film work and have done for many features, create and recreate weapons and arms from various nerdy, eccentric backgrounds. And they did an episode where they made these sort of omens. Since I worked on Thundercats and was friends with one of the guys on the show, they asked me to be part of that episode. And I was like, yeah. I want to hold sort of omens, like, we'll let you actually cut things with it. I'm like, yeah. I'm going to do that. So about like Mama Toy, and then we cut up pots and stuff. It was great. What was even funnier was, about a month later, they shot an episode where they had crafted Crom Sword from Fire Emblem, but didn't know that I voiced Crom. And so the episode came out, and I was like, oh, it's awesome, man, you guys should have told me, I would have done that one. Wait, you were him too? Damn it! So now whenever they make a new sword, they just message me, your voice this? No? Yeah, it was really cool. And a little part of me was like, I wonder, would they know it was me if it just vanished at the end of the shooting? I just happened to acquire one on my wall. Best time to piss off the guys who make weapons for a living. So yeah, I left that in their safe hands, their cool hands. Yeah, that was really cool. That's all I had over here. Yes, Susan.
Going back to improvisation,
Yes.
When you were voicing Stryker in Mortal Kombat, some of the verbal tics he had, was that improv or was that scripted?
A lot of that was improvised. You know, one of the things is, and this is something you just learn through experience as well, you don't have to read the script verbatim. And you want to stick to the lines for the most part, but you as the actor, what you're there to do is take that and interpret it and give it some life, give it some room to breathe. And so it's the difference between reading a line saying, well, we certainly could have helped this, but now we gotta leave. Or same line says, well, we certainly could have helped this, but now we gotta leave. You know, there's a little more personality to it. So yeah, a lot of those little moments, those little quips, and a couple of little side things here and there I'll throw in and just breathe through the life of the character if I feel the moments would make use of it well. That was fun. That was a great challenge. I remember going in to read, I read for a bunch of characters in that Mortal Kombat game. My agent calls me, hey, book Mortal Kombat. I'm like, yeah! Yeah, you play Magic Striker. Oh. Out of all of them? That was with the backwards hat and pop belly for real?
We know you're ready.
So to me it was a unique challenge. They're like, all right, I'm trying to make Striker cool, but they really looked towards making him a much better character, made him far less lame and very viable. From a combat standpoint, just give him some personality, some attitude. I like the idea of like in this craziness, all these demons and weird martial arts spirit beings and soul-eating, and forever living entities. There's just like a dude who got like, no, I got this. John McClane of World so we kind of went that direction. I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, so a little bit of that was interpretation. But it was written. They had good writers in the project as well. But that's sort of a complete plan. You and
I didn't know your voice of Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil.
yes,
Do you think you'll continue to voice Leon?
I would love to continue voicing Leon. As a character is very close and dear to me. I love the series since it came out.
Did they tell you to follow the same voice lines like Paul Mercer?
Yeah, well, Paul and me were friends, which is a little awkward. But I love this interpretation of Leon. That was kind of what really set the bar for the character for me. And so they didn't request it, but I knew that was kind of what they wanted. And so I went back and just really studied a lot of his previous performances and tried to hold on to as much of the character essence as I could, both vocally, texture-wise, and his performance quirks. Leon has that kind of cocksure attitude elements. Though in 6, he's a little more world-hardened and weary. So it was kind of interesting and fun to take the Leon he established in 4, transition to 6, with things that have transpired since then, and make him a little darker and a little more, let's just keep some of those. And then getting to play that arc in the film animation was also a lot of fun too. I got to start more Paul Mercer and then bring it to my 6th Leon by the end of it. I would love to keep doing it. Thankfully, I got to play it again in the new Revelations 2 that just came out. Even though it's only in rainbow, it was supposed to just like, But when they called me for that, I'm like, oh, okay, you still want me as Leon. Good. More of that. Let's not continue the trend of replacing them every 2 games. But also, I think we're at a point now where the gaming industry understands that we as gamers enjoy consistency and really do pay attention and appreciate the performance quality of the voiceover. So I think it would be against their best interest to continue to keep replacing people going forward. That's my hope. I'd like to still be way up. I know they're definitely taking some steps to reinvent Resident Evil based on 6's lukewarm reception, stepping away from classic survival horror and going a little more action Resident Evil. So I'm excited to see what they're doing with the franchise in the near future to bring it back to its roots. And hopefully I'll be a part. I did.
I believe you did Jojo Cujo from Good Gonzalez.
Yes.
When you did what, how far was it to do?
So those are here, I voiced Jotaro Kujo in the Stardust Crusaders, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is an amazing series if you haven't seen it. It's ridiculous. You'll learn to pose like no other. And a series I've been familiar with for a long time, actually. My very, very first convention as a convention goer back in the old days of 1997. My first video room I ever went into was playing the old JoJo's Bizarre Adventure anime, and so it's kind of this cool nerd full circle to now be voicing it in the new project. But I will say, when you've done enough Call of Duties or military games where you spend 4 hours shouting "Grenade!" in 8,000 different variations, you get used to vocal stress and you kind of train yourself to not make too much of an impact. So the aura for that wasn't too hard to say, but it gets cathartic. It's like paid therapy. You just get screaming into a mic for a while, and sweat, and it's like, you know, it's sitting around, it's kind of fun. So it wasn't too hard of a voice per se, also because they're short bursts. If it was like that's all your character did for the next 3 hours, that'd be a whole different circumstance. Like bleeding from the eyes. Oh. I hope there's more from another pipe because that was a lot of fun. We'll go poke company when I get back home. Be like, so when's the next batch, right? Yes. And then they'll read that. No. Next question. You sew the top hat.
Yeah. This isn't more about voice acting, but I think it'll help in terms of how you things. Wow, I can't speak right now.
That's okay. I barely speak after time, but I do it for a living.
When you were talking about how you host the D&D campaign, right? I'm kind of starting out doing that myself. I've been playing D&D for a while, but a lot of people complain bits and pieces of how I DM. Is there any kind of like suggestions you could give to someone starting out DMing?
Yeah, totally. Dungeon mastering or GMing for any role on your for that matter. It's a combination of preparation and then being prepared to be unprepared. You don't want to railroad your group too much. You don't want to force them into a tiny tunnel and, you know, make them feel like they're playing Final Fantasy 13. But you know, you also don't want them to completely ruin everything you worked on. So it's kind of this balance of setting up a scenario where there's a semi-obvious direction that you're kind of pushing them, but also give them the option to explore and go their own path. Actually, funny enough, this pays off of improvisation. Improv classes are tremendously helpful as a DM because you're going to spend a lot of your game players doing what they're doing, improvising. And for me, half the fun of it is being put in a position where they're like, we're going to do this. Oh, okay. Okay, so here's what happens. And you're just like, let's go, let's wing it. And you start to make yourself up. And a lot of that things like preparation for that means just making sure that you spend some time understanding the world that you're creating or the world that you're running. Having a list of names. Just a big old list of like, here's a big list of 50 elvish names. There's a list of 50 dwarvish names. Just have them out there. So if someone's like, yeah, I'm going to go into that livery and talk to the stable master. Okay, stable master, what's your name? As opposed to going, Bob. My name is Bob. You know, like, yeah, suppose you step inside, you see, a stout dwarf looking probably in what would be the human equivalent of mid-40s, kind of a thinning salt and pepper gray beard that's twisted into a very tight gray. One eye seems to be kind of clouded over, damaged from some long past injury. He looks you in the face and says, hi, my name's Balin. You know, and you just cross off Balin on the list. Because no, Balin equals livery, stable master. And and then when the session's done, you can go make note of that. You're going to figure afterward. But names help. Just to kind of come with things off the cuff. There's also a lot of great resources like DMGs who really have good lists in the back of NPC templates that you can print out and have as a possible pull-out in case you're forced to improv. But in most of DMing, it's just being rational about the world and how things would react. I never like a game where I feel like it's DM versus the player. You're more of a rule master in a world that is naturally aggressive. You want the players to feel like you're out to get them, because then it becomes an us versus them mentality, which can be a little weird. You want them to feel like the world itself is just dangerous, and you're just being a fair rule taker of the circumstance.
Yeah, because anything else should be playing first edition, right?
Sure enough. Yeah. We're not making any character, we're making 6 characters because you plan to blow through the first 5 in 3 hours. 2 more horrors? Good luck. And the other idea is to have fun with it, let the players have fun. If they come up with a crazy plan, and you're like, that probably wouldn't work, don't be like, that won't work. Let them try it and give the opportunity for it to work. If they roll really well, it will be a spectacular story that all of you will remember. If they roll really poorly, it will be a spectacular failure you will all remember. But let them try and let them fail and have fun with it. And sometimes players have really stupid ideas, sometimes they have really awesome ideas, sometimes they have really strange ideas. And you're like, let's see how this plays out. And you just play rationally at that point. You think what the NPCs do, what the enemies do. Let them follow that path, and if it makes sense, let it happen. The players play a game of D&D because they want to feel partially empowered as well as telling a story. You don't want to rob them of that. I think a lot of games fall in that trap where they get kind of to this denial loop with their players. Like, no, you can't do that. No, it doesn't work. It just inflates them. You never want to get stuck in that loop.
Suddenly a half an hour cutscene.
Yeah. Don't turn it up here. I would say improvisation comes really handy. Preparing a loose outline of the world so when they go somewhere you kind of know where to go to. NPC names and templates at the ready. And facilitate the players bringing their cool ideas to fruition, whether it be success or failure. Those are my biggest suggestions.
Thank you.
No worries, no worries. And good luck. Question there, sir.
I always hear that video game voice acting is different than television voice acting. Have you found differences in voice acting between video game genres?
Very much so.
Could you explain that?
Next part. One word answers only. Every genre is very different. In fact, there are some genres in each genre that are very different. Like, for instance, role-playing games. If you're doing a Dragon Age, fantasy-style role-playing game, you have that very cinematic, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones style quality where you pick natural, realistic dialogues in the world. Like, I worked a little bit on the Telltale Games Game of Thrones series, a couple characters in that. And so I had to, push them all the northern dialect to think of both the, Jon Snow, where's his sword, he is the here, and push it that way. So you keep it very subdued, very natural sounding, you keep it full and that way, nothing too strange. That's very natural, grounded sort of performance, and you keep it down that realm there. When it comes to more Japanese RPGs, when your character has bunny ears and a pink chest of armor and is out to save the universe, then you kind of play into the drama and the heightened aspect of that a little bit. But depending on what the director wants, of course, you're kind of bound to what the director wants, which means you're hopefully getting a good director. It doesn't always happen, but most of the time you're in good hands. And so in some of those genres, you can go a little more over the top, or a little more playful with the characters. Because when you're going cinematic, especially like a Game of Thrones game or something like that, they want to keep it very subtle. They want to keep it very believable, very gritty and real. Whereas in like Tales of Exilia, we got to have a lot of party conversations and skits that were ridiculous, talking about bondage and bazongas and stuff. And so you get to have a little more fun with that. You room to play and expand. That's a totally different feel. Then you go into fighting games, which much more aggressive, much more shortened story. You play a specific archetype and have your sessions. You go, something like that. And then you move over to first-person shooters. Very military, very dry, very like, all right, we're gonna wait for our round going, everything's all ready to go. Like, we got the bogey on the side. They're in 3, 2, 1. Target's down. Repeat, target's down. Very like, focusing the mic for a lot of the AC-130 moments, but that's what gets the kind of natural sound, because when the soldiers are sort of focused in those situations, it's all about the information, it's not about, you know, the delivery, so it's kind of keeping that distinction there. Also, when you're in the combat, first-person shooters, it's all top of the lungs, screaming, you know, bogey at 2 o'clock! Bogey at 4 o'clock! Bogey behind the red stand! Bogey behind the blue car! For 4 hours. I don't like those sessions very much. At the end, you're like, all right, guys, I'm gonna so yeah, like that, so even those have their own sub-genre variations and definitions there. Then some puzzle games that have narration, it's more of like a narration. It should be like, at the next level, you want to only collect the blue blocks. Go ahead and click on the blue blocks. So yes, to answer your question, there are many differences, and I hope I give some examples as to kind of how it changes. And a lot of that is based on the director. The director kind of guides the mood and the style for the session, and they'll keep you within that line. If you start going a little too one way or the other, they'll just value it and be like, all right, cool, take it again, reel it back to this, or go a little more over the top, put more emphasis on this end part of the line. And that's kind of the collaboration between the actor and the directors to find where that story is going to be told in that spectrum. You have a question? Dream roles for voiceover? Many. From like an old school standpoint, if they ever did a remake or a continuation of the Chrono Trigger franchise, there will be bodies if necessary. And the desert would be buried for me to play Magus. One of my favorite characters is so awesome. If George Newbern, for whatever reason, could continue voicing him, I would love to pick up the mantle of Sephiroth. That's enough. I got that jam. Number 7. Yeah. I love that game. 6 is still my favorite, but I love that game. I would adore the opportunity to portray Morpheus from the Sandman series, the comic series, if they ever did an animated or game version of that. With all of that. Neil Gaiman's Sandman, if you haven't read it, it's cool, recommend it. And really, any BioWare RPGs, player character. Like I'm nerding out of the fact that Pillars of Eternity that just came out from City, which is essentially a spiritual successor to the Baldur's Gate, Planescape Torment, and Infinity Engine games. I voiced 2 of the main party members, Adair and Ayla, and I was stoked, because that's my jam. So good. So anything BioWare RPG, I'm all over it. Just a handful. I can go for things. This could also be another panel. Come listen to Matt talk about shit he wants to. Sorry, stop. I've been on a plane all morning. Sorry, parents. Yeah, I'm done. Thanks for some question. Do you have a question that we'll get over to you? Robert, longing for Attack on Titan? Not yet. I am going to, because inevitably I'm going to be spoiled if I don't. Seeing as how Japan's taken forever to get the next season out. But yes, I'm going to have to at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and bear down, crank through all the manga that's available, crank through No Regrets, offshoot. Because I've had too many panels where I was like, what was that part of No Regrets with you? I'm like, don't you even! I will strike you down where you stand. So yeah, I'm just going to have to. I was trying to like mix it. I wanted to like go into the anime fresh, reporting for the second season, and kind of like go along the story as it unveils itself. But I'm not that patient. So soon. You sir with the yellow shirt and white hat, and then we'll get to you, director.
I was just wondering, what was your favorite character to voice act in like anything?
Oh, favorite character voice? It's picking children. Well, I have a soft spot for Leon Kennedy because I see a lot in him that reminds me of me. We're both kind of moral to a fault, you know, kind of sacrifice ourselves for the greater good. Definitely put myself in harm's way trying to be a good person most of my life, but that's fine. The greater good. We're also both terrible women, which works out. Right. But I like this character a lot, and I've been with him for a long time as a gamer, so I felt like passion with him there. I also really enjoyed Alvin Exilia. He has a lot of personality and like subtlety and lot of interesting character tones that you learn more about as the series progresses that I get to play with and have fun with. Plus, I get to, there's now 2 projects I've been on where I try and kill Sam Riegel. Yeah, that new project. It's fun. I'm really, also really enjoy taking over Kanji Katsumi, who's on 4. Love that character. I think he's awesome. What he represents, the arcs he goes through, his personality, and he's an archetype I don't really do too often. And I love what Troy established with him as well, so it's another great honor to pick up that mantle. So I love what he means to a lot of people, and I know the fact that I'm now currently recording the dance game. That's a thing! I'm so excited! It's a Persona 4 dance game. I've never been in a dance game before. It's awesome! Because Alice milked that property for all it's worth. So yeah, those are a handful. And like I said, it's hard to pick one. Come on! And also Levi's awesome. I remember watching that show, just being like, that's the character I want. And I got it, I'm like, oh, what? Yeah! I was on the road driving when I got the call from Mike McFarlane that I booked it. Because I auditioned without knowing about the series or really watching it. And after the audition was sent off, I should probably watch a couple episodes of this to get a feel for it. Oh, it's on Netflix, nice. I watched the first episode or 2. Smash cut to 9 hours later, I'm on my couch with my knees to my chest and I'm like going, this is awesome. There's only 1 season? No! So yeah, I was excited. I got a call from Mike and driving. I'm like, oh, what's up, Mike? Oh, Levi, awesome. Yeah, no, it's another time. I'm going to record. All right, thanks, buddy. Bye. Pull over. I am a god! I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Those are a few. You have questions?
Yeah, I don't know if you or your voice directors have noticed a similar pattern with some of your recent roles with Tsukishima from Bleach, Sinbad from Maki, and Jotaro Kujo. They were all voiced by Daisuke Ono in the Japanese. So did you guys pick up that pattern?
Yeah, the patterns have picked up to the point where if ever there's an event in which either of us have the opportunity to meet, we're going to schedule a dinner for the translator. I'm a big fan of his work. It's fantastic. Yeah. And when I began to realize that pattern, it was like, oh. I'll tickle my heart. So yeah, no, it's a really big honor and a little daunting at times because he's really good and the character is fun. So I try to do my best to kind of honor the best I can from my language. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully one day getting a chance to meet him and let's go. Hey!
When you do like a foreign dialect, how do you do it to make it sound real and kind of fake accent?
Okay, so to make a dialect or accent sound authentic, experience and training. A lot of it is a lot of study, and that involves listening to authentic accents. I mean, you don't want to be like, oh, Lord Cockney, oh, Dick Van Dyke's very competent. Bad source material. But there's a lot of great websites out there. One in particular called the International Dialects of English Archive, the IDEA. So it's International Dialects of English Archive, and they have the entire site is broken down by countries, or by continents, countries, regions, and cities. That's how the panel here. And they have just audio files and MP3s recordings over the past 40, 50 years of people from all these different regions just reading and talking about themselves. And you can hear the authentic regional dialects and accents. And so you just find the ones you want to listen to them a lot, and kind of practice along and pick up the interesting aspects. There's also, it's called the International Phonetic Alphabet, the IPA, which is a very technical way of training and how to pick up dialects. I'm not practicing it, unfortunately I didn't have the opportunity to train under it. But it's kind of a universal way to break down phonetically different words and their pronunciation. And when you study a dialect and break it down that way, you can be like, oh, I can actually see how it's pronounced through this other alphabet. So that's a little more technical. Other than that, taking classes. There are a lot of great dialect coaches out there. that will teach you and train you in these different accents and dialects. It might be a little pricey, but that's a legitimate, really intense, one-on-one focused way to get really good at these dialects. Make sure you always research whoever's teaching you first. So you get somebody who has a lot of experiences and is a reputable teacher, as opposed to like, my name is Bob, and I went to England once. I was around a lot of English people for like a week. I can teach you a bit English. Don't go to that guy. Sorry, Bob. Those are my biggest suggestions there. Like your Scottish, my favorite accent. Scottish brogue, I love it. I love it initially because I can all hear bring Morning Scotty! Come on, grab your axe, let's go slay some orcs. That's a little over the top for natural Scot brogue, but you can pull it back just a little bit. So I'm going that first, of course. Once you bring it back, make it more subtle, make it more flow with the rest of the voice, it becomes more of a natural sounding brogue. Like someone talk to you. Hi, Scott, how's your day been? How you want to read? Come on, sit down. We'll talk a chat bit. There's a few stories where I grew up. And it's the same thing, you just kind of learn to scale it back a little bit, soften the consonants when they quite so hard, a bit as hard, and you kind of learn that range within the dialect. So practice. Practice. Hold that up. Are you in the way of that? Hi.
Hey, between the two Attack on Titan openings, which one's your favorite?
I think the second is very pretty and very uplifting and very like, ah, yes, the Scots. But the first one is so intense, that song! You gotta go with the first intro. Like, as soon as that song comes on, you're gonna be like shopping. And all of a sudden, like, you're gonna outshop everyone in that Like, if you want to know, like the most effective military in the world, you should get pumped that to everyone. Are you serious? Like, I'm a dangerous driver if I heard that. Like, I go from that to... You can't not be pumped up for the rest of your day. So yeah, I have to go with the original intro. It's just chains spinning in the fire. Like, yeah, adrenaline. I mean, the first time I heard it, actually, I was just like, I wasn't ready for it. Especially because the original first episode was like, it starts off kind of quiet, you know, with Aaron waking up from his dream, and the kids kind of talking about it, and then there's the intro, and you're like, all right, this is where we're going. All right. That was my preference. Nice to have you second intro. It's great. It's curiosity. Hello, yes.
What's one of your favorite lines to say about album?
My favorite lines to say is album. Here's the let's see. I really enjoyed in Exilia 2, I remember the actual line, there's a conversation where he gets texted a picture of like an ugly frog and he's like really angry. He's like, that's supposed to be me? Look at all. It wasn't that Alvin gets actually perturbed and upset and somebody insinuates that he's an ugly frog. In the first game, I really loved the conversation we were talking about Amelia's clothing choices. And kind of teasing Jude about it. It's like, well, I guess Amelia really is into bondage. It's like, oh, this game's going there, all right. Some risque conversations in Exilia, man. And while I didn't actually voice it, one of my favorite lines in the entire game was Rowan's line during the Bazonga's conversation. Where, those who haven't played the game, there's a sequence where like, there's a slight conversation on the side about Bazongas, and the main character, Jude, it's like, hey, what's Bazongas? And I was all, oh, looks like Jude's finally becoming a man. Rowan was this like older swordsman character, he's like a wiser of the group. He's like, you, to understand the Bazongas, you must first be passionate about them. You must bring them to bear in your mind. You must truly embrace the joy and honor. And really like, do you take this too hard? She was like, I don't even know what they are. You will never know Bazongas. It's such a beautiful line. It's such a wonderful shutdown. Such a ridiculous topic. I love it so much. My favorite line goes to Rowan in that game. But yeah, actually, honestly, I kind of really liked playing Alvin during this emotional breakdown in the first game. Because you get a bit of that kind of cocky, you know, I got myself taken care of, don't you worry, kind of attitude, and then you get that one real moment of like, there is some hurt, there is some anger, there is some real desperation this character is very well hidden. So it's always fun to take a character into that realm and outside of their comfort zone. So I really relish doing that scene, where you accidentally shoot some person you didn't mean to. It's all on the side. Yes, yourself.
Notice you were a guest analyst on Superpower Beatdown a couple of times. Is that something you wanted to do, or is that something they contacted you about?
That's something they contacted me about. We have mutual friends, largely because my girlfriend is actually the host of the show, so that made for an easy transition. She's like, hey, want to do the show? Okay. It's a pretty quick combo. But I wanted to make sure I was invested. And I just been in the new Mortal Kombat game that came out. And while I think Power Rangers are cool, Scorpion totally would have kicked Power Rangers. That's my opinion, no offense. Because, he's already been killed, and he came back from hell, and visits just for the heck of it sometimes. And he'll take you there and leave you there, because he's kind of a dick. Scorpion number one. But popularity wins the vote, so what are you going to do? But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a fun project. I love what they do. They really kind of take these fan fights to a cinematic level. It's great. I'm excited to see where they continue to go. And as they keep growing, their budgets get nicer. I'm going to start trying to push more in the video game realm too. Cool, man. You guys have hit the comic spectrum. It's pretty more games. I'll try pushing that. Next question. Anybody have any burning curiosity? Don't be shy. Yes, you.
What is your favorite line when you were playing Levi on Attack on Titan?
Favorite line is Levi on Attack on Titan. There are really specific lines. He has some great lines in the courtroom scene where he beats the crap out of Aaron. Something where he's like, this boy needs to be taught a lesson. And there's no better lesson than knowing that pain. It's a great dark line. Of course, an entire courtroom of really intense political figures shouting at each other about killing or saving this boy, and they're all just talking their own bullcrap and self-absorbed scenario. All it takes is Levi to step out and we're like, oh. What he said. So that was a cool scene. Other than that, I was really glad that we managed to get into the dub, my other favorite line, which is the look around here. Look at all these big ass trees. Which wasn't in the original translation we got from Japan. It was more up to his kind of look around you, look at the forest around you, does this give you an idea, idiot, of the feel? And we recorded it that way. And then as we were going to events, we kept talking about these big ass trees line. I was like, wait, what is this? Looked it up. Oh, the original subs. I'd say big ass trees. It makes a lot more sense. This kind of befits his vulgar, vocabulary, his kind of thuggish attitude. So we went back for pickups on season 1. I told Mike McFarlane this. And he said, oh, let's put it back in. And so they went and re-recorded the line. And so you guys are partially responsible for getting the big ass trees line back in the dub. So well done. Give me an 11. Those are definitely some of my favorites. Or his conversation with the female Titan. When they have her all tied up in the middle of the forest, he's on her head, basically telling her how he's going to slowly kill her. Oh, it was delicious and dark and sadistic. And, really enjoyed that one. It's true. Was that Levi? Irwin? Levi Irwin Perry? I think it's adorable. I have a personal soft spot for Levi Petra as his kind of thing to the show, and just that one moment you guys are talking about is really touching and harsh. But the history behind Levi and Irvin, their dynamic is different than either of them or any other character. There's definitely this unspoken kinship, respect, and understanding that is impenetrable from an outside perspective. And that to me lends itself to a very interesting curiosity on the internet. And of course, me and Tatum have definitely talked about it. And I think we both kind of secretly ship them from a fun standpoint too. So that's my opinion on it. I don't know if it has any legitimacy, but it's fun. Plus, we both kind of match the height difference between me and Tatum. So, actually, we took a picture at a convention end of last year where these wonderful artists, these two sisters who did wonderful giant chalk paintings. painted a giant mural of the colossal titan like, swinging his fist, and you can step onto the and take pictures of you like on his arm. And so me and Tatum got a picture of us both like touching each other in fear, going, ah! Like we're about to die. And then somebody took that on Tumblr, of course, and drew in our posters right over us, Levi and Irvin holding each other in the same position. And it looks awesome! So, me and Tatum are really drunk. We'll like do some closet cosplay or something. Yes?
Do you ship or marry?
Which one?
Aaron and Levi.
Aaron Levi? I think Levi sees Aaron as an instrument, as a tool, so far. So we'll see how that relationship develops or how it does in season 2. I think it's an interesting thought. I think Levi definitely sees Aaron as a means to an end. He's that hope. He's that one blip of new possible weapon that they've not had access to before. And so it intrigues him. He wants to break Aaron, he wants to craft Aaron, he wants to form him to be exactly what Levi needs to complete his agenda, him and Urban's agenda. Which ultimately is for the betterment of mankind, but they're definitely an ends justify the means type group, it seems, based on what they've already accomplished. So, I mean, we'll see where the relationship goes, definitely, but I think at least what's established in the series so far, Aaron's very removed and Levi's very removed, very much looking at him as, you're mine, I own you, and I'm going to make you what I need you to be. Which in itself would be a very interesting relationship dynamic in the future. That's your thing. So I know a few folks that have enjoyed that dynamic, so there you go. Next question. You haven't asked one yet?
I was just wondering about when you're dubbing things. You said like the Big Ass Trees line, you kind of, like how often do you have influence on the particularity of the lines when you're dubbing?
Any sort of recording is a collaboration between you and the director, and the writers as well. You don't want to rewrite the entire script from inside because you're still the actor. You're hired to do a job. You don't want to be like, well, in my personal opinion, the line should read this way. You're like, cool. We're just not going to call you back for anything in the future. Especially if sometimes the director may have also been the writer of the project. Or be like, but at the same time, some lines don't work, or sometimes with the way they're written don't actually fit when you perform them in the booth, or they sound a little awkward when they're actually said out loud and they go on the page. And at that point, you and the director might have some collaborative moments and be like, how about this one? How about we change this word out? How about we reverse these two parts now? It sounds more natural. And the director will be like, okay, yeah, go ahead and read it. And so you do have a little bit of flexibility back and forth. You do have that little bit of collaboration when it comes to switching up lines, for parts. That really depends on the director. More often than not, directors are pretty cool about it and open to your interpretation, you offering some suggestions. Occasionally, you want to be like, just do it as written. You're like, okay. But more often than not, it's a pretty fun collaborative experience. This is with a hand that's all eating up. Yeah, somewhere. Any questions? Ideas? Comments? Yes,
So, are you aware of the Bridge series?
Yes, I am. I've done a few events with Team 4-star guys.
So, you saw the Attack on Titan one before it was taken down?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you also know that they can't do anymore for a while because of the copyright issues.
Yeah.
Are you interested to see what they do with Levi?
I'm very interested. We've actually talked about possibly doing some collaboration in the future. Oh. Maybe. They're good folks who are fans of each other's work, so it's like, well, hey, if they ever need like a cameo bit, it's not might be happening. How about? Probably not what the characters have actually done, because that's when it gets kind of legally sticky. One of those things where there's only so much you can involve yourself in other side or fan projects that could conflict with the actual property. The company's like, oh, you did what? We're going to find somebody else for the future roles. Like, no! So it's a really fine line you got to walk as a performer in this realm. Some companies are very sticky about their legality and ownership and copyright of their properties. But I love their work. And I'm curious to see what they do with Levi, definitely. And I'm curious to see what more fun stuff they have coming down the pipeline.
Did you have a favorite line from that episode?
I'm trying to remember. I only watched it once or twice, and that was last year. I have to go back and watch it. I'm not going to take it. I know pretty much all the scenes with the recruits being yelled at by the corporal were amazing. Patch Knight's character. I love that scene anyway. It's like third edition stuff. I'll go revisit it again. I'll come back to Lancaster tomorrow. Watching my break. 5 minutes. Okay, you got room for a few more questions here? And you guys got any burning interest? Yes, I do.
If you could spend the day with any one character that you voiced, who would it be?
If I could spend one day with any character that I voiced, who would it be? Oh, man.
Just like hang out, go clubbing.
That way? It's gotta be Sinbad, man. Sinbad from Maggie? Are you kidding me? That man can party like no other. He's got a whole scenery at his disposal. He's got just like infinite resources to do whatever. Wine, food, ladies, music, it's all there. And he's just, hey, I'm Sinbad. Take a load off, relax. No, don't worry, she'll beat you to the grave. Like that. Do that. Definitely Sinbad. To be perfectly honest, a lot of the characters that I love playing, I probably wouldn't want to hang out with. Bleach from Fate Zero, I love that character. Probably not a fun guy to be around too long. So yeah, definitely Sinbad. Have to go with that. Good question, I like that. Next question. Hello, yes.
I'm a big fan of like
Oh, awesome.
And actually kind of is there like a character that they could cast?
In Kingdom Hearts? Universe Final Fantasy? Well, I would definitely go take over a separate one. I would. They would rock the half guy do it. Villains, man, they're fun. It's my favorite Final Fantasy villain. Bar none. He's so sadistic. Or Edgar. Edgar from Final Fantasy 6 would be awesome. I love that guy. He's definitely fits in the archetype that the role did too. You know, that kind of slightly swaggering prince who, you know, he's got his tools, he knows what's up. Actual tools, like he's real. You guys can play 6 if you haven't, it's good. Yeah, I'd probably go that route. What would you cool character for a couple more questions, pretty quick. Yes, you.
Anyone ever thought you sound like Troy Baker?
Anyone ever thought I was like Troy Baker? I get that a lot. Me and Troy we worked on a lot of projects together, and that's kind of how I've taken over for Roberta's characters when he couldn't, because he's a very busy man. His career is skyrocketing. And so, since there's only 24 hours in a day, you guys got to have some time for like life and existing. Projects no longer has time for, I'm happy to go ahead and continue. He trusts and feels that I can live up to that, hopefully. But yeah, we get that a lot. And it's kind of that fun confusion game whenever any of our projects come out, we both get tweets constantly like, oh, I love you in this! And like, actually, it's Troy. I love you in this! Like, actually, that's Matt. Let's keep everyone guessing now at this point, which is kind of fun. And hey, the busier he is, the busier I am, so I like that. Although I am trying desperately to get out from under the title Budget Baker. Yeah. Budget Baker and Poor Man's for Baker. I'm like, come on, internet. That stings in the cockles of the heart. It makes with the pain in the chest and the eye. But I take it with a grain of salt, and I'll take it as a backhanded compliment, so what can you do? You're being compared to a person that talented, like, that's awesome. I've time for like 1 or 2 quick questions. Anything else burning, guys? Get your hands up. Yeah.
I was just going to say, was performance capture?
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel about that?
I love mocap. I've done quite a lot of mocap the past couple of years, which is, you know, it's fun to just say, how's your day? I'm just covered in balls. Never gets old. Never gets old. That's much more of a theater experience. You get to work with other actors on stage in space and blocking, and it's like working the full scene together. So you get to have that really cinematic connection experience, the physicality behind it. Plus, with mocap, you get to play a lot of on-camera-ish roles, but without having to have the exact body type that you requested. I've gotten to play goblin kings. I've gotten to play, you know, thuggy criminals. I've gotten to play, you know, dragons. I've got, like, it's crazy kind of things I've got to play that normally would not be casted for anything on camera. I will say, the headcam rigs, which are better than having all the dots flew to your face, because I think it's worse than doing a really good scene like for a full, really intense emotional scene, and then cut. That was great. We lost the marker halfway through. We have to redo it. Guys come over like glue with your face and hold it there for 5 minutes for it to dry, and they're just all waiting on you. It's really not. So now they have the head cam rigs, which is just a helmet that's form-fit to your skull, and then they have these camera mounts out in front of you, and they draw these marks on your face, and they can read the motions of your forehead, your mouth, your eyes. Those are much easier. Although, because they have to be pretty tight so the camera doesn't wiggle, about 3 or 4 hours and you start feeling that pressure migraine kick in. Plus you have this LED light in your eyes the whole time, so it kind of gives you that headache. So it's not like a pleasurable experience, but eventually you get used to it, you kind of push through the pain, and you just deal with it, and the work comes out fantastically. So I love Lancaster, I really do. I don't think we'll ever replace voiceover, not for me or logistically for the industry, so I'm not worried. But I enjoy it. One more quick question, and then we got to run, guys. Anything else? Yes, quick, what you got?
One movie you really regret watching.
One movie I really regret watching? There's a lot. There's a legitimate amount of movies I really regret watching. I would say the first Twilight movie, but I saw it opening night really drunk. And we had a blast with that. The rest of the audience, you're very loud and obnoxious. I would say there's a lot out there. And I love bad movies. So there's this line of like, so bad it's good, and then it's like really bad, but not bad enough to be good. Is that realm there? And oh man. My brain's just going to all these good movies right now. I'm really frustrated. No, I know this. I got one in there somewhere. Okay, this isn't a bad movie. It's a great movie, but I regret watching. It was. My brain's really blanking on it. Yeah, thank you. Jared Leto and. No, it deals with really heavy drug use and descent to madness. Requiem for a Dream, thank you. Requiem for a Dream. Great movie that I will never, ever watch again. I own it on DVD. I bought it after seeing it because I wanted to support it. And it is unopened now for 10 years in my collection. Never again. Well, folks, that's the end of the panel. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you learned something. We want panels throughout the weekend, check your schedule, and we have a signing coming up here in a few minutes.
Actually, there's a signing that's going to be in less than 12 minutes. So at this time, if you guys want to go ahead and head on down the Ottawa area on 9th Street, that's at the very bottom by where registration is. Hop in line there. Autographs are going to be given in session to about 100 people. So you don't want to be the last one down there. At this time, so come down there, please don't rush up to that right now. So that will be doing panels tomorrow. We're going to tackle that type of panel as well as all of the presentations tomorrow and more organized tomorrow and Sunday. Let's hear from Matt Mercer, everybody.